So you'll have to excuse the crudeness of this video, but this was a little too big to put in the office. This is a Carstens Articulograph. There's two different models on it. The lower bit, I can get my finger in the right frame, there we go. The lower bit says AG500, but the controller box there says AG500, plus some of the internal stuff says AG500 as well. And basically what this is, from what my limited understanding is this was used for speech therapy to do motion tracking of speech. So the little circles you see on the sides, and then there's more on the other sides, little colored domes, those emit some sort of RF frequency. And then there's a bunch of receivers that are on wires that go in your mouth, like on your tongue and jaw and stuff. And it's able to do some sort of motion capture to track your speech, and I guess that's somehow supposed to help you speak better. I don't know. It's a little over my head, but kind of a wacky looking device. I've been storing it for quite a while now. It came from a university that recycled it. The company still exists as far as I can tell, and they have a modern version of this that they make. But anybody that's going to want to own something like this, they're going to buy it new. They're not going to buy it from some schmuck like me on eBay or Facebook. So I've finally broken down, and the plan is to take this apart, which it's probably going to make for a long video. I don't know. I'm not going to take it apart too far. I kind of want to get rid of it, but I'm a hoarder. I think the top plastic bit, I'm going to donate that to my cats. I think they're going to like it as a play toy. I need to double check the edges of all the cut pieces and make sure it's not super sharp, but I think it'll be fine. And they can play with that or whatever. All the aluminum, I'm not sure what to do with that. I'm probably going to leave the frame together. It's kind of made out of that same stuff that, what's the brand? 8020. It's all T-slot aluminum. So I'm probably going to leave that together. It actually rolls really nice. Maybe I can make a platform or something out of it. The mast that supports the receiver transmitter box, I guess. I don't know what that's made of, but that's probably going to just get recycled. So I'm going to take the camera off the tripod and do some close-ups, I guess. So this has been in storage for a while, so it is fairly dirty and dusty. I'm not quite sure what all these little individual bits do. There's some sort of a tube, so maybe that's sending out a signal, or maybe that's receiving something, I'm not sure. And then these little globes, I'm pretty sure it's wireless transmitters, some sort of RF frequency. And somehow between these and the sensors, that's how they get their motion capture. Whoops, figure out where everything is in the world. And this box here is what you plug all the little sensors that go in your mouth into. And I have a few that are used that came with this thing, which is interesting. It's just this weird mess of wires, and then on the end, probably not going to focus on that. I'm going to set this down and then try with the camera. I assume it's just like a coil of some sort. Looks like there's magnet wire going to it. Really fine wires. There's some more of the sensors that go in your mouth. At least from what I can tell. Let's see if I can open this with one hand. I might not be able to do that. I'm going to set the camera down and pull the top off. Yeah, that should stay there. So this wood bit that I'm pulling off, you would sit on. And this is all electronics inside. The interesting thing about this is, since this is a German-based company, the stuff inside of here is meant for 240 volt. And they end up using a power converter for that. So here's another control box of some sort. I guess it says transmitter. So the other one's a receiver and this is the transmitter. And I guess basically if I look at the cables, all these individual little cables here, with black wires coming out of them, are what's going to those domes. So that is definitely transmitters then. I'm not sure what the big, pretty sure it's a DB25 cable goes to up top. And then in here is just a basic computer. And there's nothing to see there. Yeah. And funny thing about this is, since they decided to just use the same stuff they would in Germany, as a European plug strip in it. Not sure what I'll do with that. Maybe if I can figure out a use for it, maybe I can use it for testing stuff. I don't know where the power, I think this, no. I don't know, it says 230 volt. I forget, there was a power converter in here somewhere, I thought. Because when I looked at the power supply for this computer originally, I believe it was 240 volt only. Which I thought was interesting. But yeah, so that's that. There is some stuff in that box. I'm gonna find a spot to dump that out and I'll be back. So this is what was in the box. Mostly just spare parts. Big massive sensors. Some plastic nuts and washers and bolts for assembling. With this fancy looking plastic assembly. Another thing, I don't know what this does. I'm almost wondering if it's maybe a way to stage the sensors before you do your tests. And what's kind of funny is this pipe here is just a piece of PVC pipe. Did nothing special. They didn't even try to cover it up. All the plastic bits are actually really nicely machined. I don't know, what this was about, but these were the spare parts. Some sort of optional box. Scared me all of a sudden. Little bug. Anyways, yeah, just more connections, little blinky lights. What's it say? Attention, sweep, and talkative? I don't know. And it came with a little sound card and a mixing board and some optical media converters. Don't know what that's all about, but yeah, and these boxes are just sensors. They must have reused sensors because this one says repaired sensors on it. But these are all just going to get recycled because this has no value as far as I can tell. There's been no interest in it. But in the next clips, I think I'm going to tear apart the more proprietary stuff and take a look inside. So I got the bulk of the guts tore out now. Notice a few things. This is just nothing special, perforated steel that was bent. They didn't weld it or anything or try to clean up the edges. Although these parts wouldn't have been exposed to the user, so I guess no risk of getting cut there. The power cord for this power strip has some insane braiding. And I can't tell, because there's some heat shrink there. There's a joint. But I don't understand what's up with that. I don't know if it's shielded under this. It sure don't feel like it. It definitely feels like it's thinner. But I don't know where they did the splice. It's pretty stiff where the heat shrink is, but I don't know. This little pass-through here is where all the cables went through. And it's kind of funny because they actually make stuff that will protect the sharp edges, but they just kind of randomly put a bunch of hot glue all over it and called it a day, which is falling off. I mean, where's the camera? Can't get in frame. There's the lens. Yeah, I'm doing this at a weird angle, but yeah, so they just put some hot glue on there to keep it on, I guess. I don't know. I do need to remove these still. I haven't gotten to that yet. But here's the transmitter, receiver, and power supply for them. These cases are kind of nice. They remind me of old electronics test equipment chassis. I almost want to save them. The goal is to get rid of this, but little bits and pieces are going to get saved, so I'm just going to end up getting mad at myself for doing the opposite of what I said I was going to do. Yeah, there's all the cables, really nice shielded connectors. Another box, and everything kind of got spread out, flat surfaces. PC is just your regular custom build, Asus motherboard. Has an Intermax power supply that's 230 volt only. The data acquisition for this machine is all like custom boards or something. I don't know. It doesn't look like something that's mass produced, that's for sure. This is some sort of board where you do some prototyping on. This little bodge here, if you even call it that, I don't know. They just add some capacitors for some reason. Looks like, where do these wires go? Looks like it's feeding power off the power supply. So, yeah, I don't know. There's a big blob here with the circuit board in there. Going to another port, which goes from the cable and then through here to the parallel port on the motherboard. But yeah, it's just a standard Asus motherboard, nothing special there. Let's see what this RAM is. Oh my. Oop. Focus. Focus. Well, it doesn't want to focus. I'll just read it. 512 meg stick of 667 megahertz DDR2. So PC2 5300. Must not need a lot of power to do its job. I think when I originally got this and I tried powering on the motherboard, I think it was running some sort of Linux. And the other weird thing about this is it's a physical clunky little switch, not just a momentary switch. So somehow they must have that rigged up to power this system on. I'm not sure how. That's probably about all I'm going to take of a look at the computer itself, though. The rest of the video will be me just tearing apart the proprietary boxes that went with it. So I'm even further in my teardown now, and had a little bit of a surprise. I tore off the mast thinking that the grayish blue piece there was just going to slide off, but the whole mast came off, and there's this piece of plastic inside on this really thick wall. Well, I don't know, thick wall compared to what I'm used to. It's like quarters thick wall tube of aluminum that apparently has been machined. So, yeah, that was a bit of a surprise. There is a bearing down here, which I'm not sure what that's about. Looks like it goes to something. I don't know if maybe this has the ability to height adjust. Oh yeah, it looks like if I spin that, if I can hold the camera still, I think it's getting higher. Yeah. Get a little higher. So something under there is a motor or something. I don't know. I don't understand how that connects. Kind of interesting. Maybe it's just manual. Maybe there's some sort of manual height adjustment, because I don't see any cables that go down there. But yeah, a little further. Whatever's on this stinks funny. Hard to explain. It's like hospital grade grease or something. I don't know. It really stinks. But yeah, I thought that might be interesting to show. I was not expecting that at all. I just figured this was the one piece that was holding everything together. And this is fairly substantial too. You can hardly see inside of it, but I don't know what this is made out of. It looks kind of strange.